run along the top of your screen any moment now that will notify you that I am indeed recording this session. This session, much like all of the rest of my classes, will be posted to a YouTube page that I have everything running on so you guys can go back to reference. I will also send a recap email with the link to the video of this session so you guys can use that for reference as well. And, general housekeeping. Please remember to keep all of your microphones on mute. I do take questions at the end of the session where you can feel free to unmute yourself. Or if you want to type something before you forget about it, please put a question into the chat and I will address those at the end of the session as well. For those who do not know me, my name is Anuj. I am the field marketing specialist here in Santa Cruz and Monterey County. And today we're going to do a nice quick discussion on downloading your assets out of Listing Concierge and moving them into a cloud storage provider. And our example will be OneDrive because that is included in the bundle of the Microsoft Office suite you guys are getting as a part of your ASP. So why not leverage it? A big kickoff is to, why is this class and these processes necessary is for those of you that are on the monthly agent product calls. They're called TMAP calls, made available in Sales Pro. For those of you that aren't, want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. I'll put it in the recap. Make sure you sign up. It is where you can hear not only marketing, but operations, talk about all of the new products in development and all of the, everything happening with Coldwell Banker in relations to what the agents are utilizing and where you guys can kind of be in the know about what's going on. One of the big things we've been talking about for months is the need to have a better platform that we manage to replace the original version of Listing Concierge that was kicked off with when we started. We've taken all of that agent feedback. Long story short, out of those calls, is we've taken along all of feedback from the agents and have built a new platform for which the Listing Concierge program will operate in, which will allow us to continually make updates on our own schedule versus a third-party developer. So it's a lot of great news. It means a lot of great productivity and a lot more hands-on access for the agents. What that also means is we are changing platforms. So it means everything that was in Listing Concierge currently, that is there currently, will not transfer to the new platform when it launches the end of next month. And for some markets, it'll be happening as early as this month. I don't think anybody in this call is going to be switching to VNew this month, but it's happening. So it's something that we want you guys thinking about, and more importantly, scheduling out to make sure that you have all of the resources you need made available for future presentations, sales, marketing, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to go ahead and get rolling into this. I am going to share my screen. And you guys should be looking at my desktop. So first things first, to make your lives easier, before we get started, we're going to go ahead and create a folder on your desktop or wherever you want to save it called Listing Concierge Assets. This is where we're going to start bringing all of the stuff that we're saving out of the platform down into this system to be able to use for later. And I think I want to stress from the get-go, this shouldn't be a lot of work, and it's something that you can very easily calendar into your schedule for like an hour a week. And if you break it down like that, even less than, you could do like 20 minutes a week and say, I'm going to save one property out of there. And depending on how many properties you have, you'll be done in 20 minutes, or you might be done in a couple of weeks. What we want to do, create that folder. And as you can see, I've got subfolders in here with all of the street addresses that I will be saving. We're going to go ahead and now that we've got this made, I'm going to go ahead and go into CB Desk and show you where we're going to be saving these stuff. So obviously everybody knows CB Desk. It's the big, wonderful intranet that Coldwell Banker has provided to be able to handle all of the tools and resources that we use. One of them is Office 365. Office 365 is all of the products located in the Microsoft Office suite. Whenever you click on this, it will take you to that product suite. I am going to stay signed in with my corporate account because that's how I get access to this stuff, is with my CB NorCal email. And just like that, bam, I've got everything. Outlook, OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams. What we need is OneDrive. OneDrive is a cloud storage provider, much like Google Doc, or sorry, not Google Docs, Google Drive, or Dropbox, or iCloud, or any other of the plethora of providers that allow you to store your files off your hard system, your off of your hard drive, and store them online in a cloud storage server on a remote system that you can then access as needed. What we are going to do here is open up this OneDrive, which will connect to mine. And as you can see, mine is connected to my computer. So everything I do on my computer automatically gets uploaded to this OneDrive. You don't have to set it up that way. That's just the way I have it set it up because I like to make sure I've got a running redundancy of everything that I'm always working on. But what we're going to do for our example is open up our OneDrive, just a little bit of a guide of where everything is. You've got your files, recent files, things you've shared, and your recycle bin all along here. Shared libraries are going to be libraries that you have shared or have been given access to by other team members. So if you're in Teams and you have a Teams group, you can share libraries with each other that are OneDrive libraries. So you can then access those files and work on them. And that's where this modified by tab comes in here. If you're working with multiple people, you'll always be able to see who modified what and when. The default sort is by alphabetical, as you can see. But it's really much like a file sort system on your computer. You've got your command items up here. You can change the sort value if you would like. You can also change the way the list looks if you would like. And you can access the other programs by clicking on that tile if you would like. What we're going to do is, again, a little bit of housekeeping to make our lives easier. I'm going to make a new folder by hitting new and then hitting folder. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I went right up here to new, and you can create all kinds of new things in here that will save right to the OneDrive space. But like I said, I'm going to do a folder. I'm going to call this new folder Listing Concierge Assets. And boom, you will see that new folder drop in right here in the L's, created a few seconds ago by me. It's got nothing in it right now, and it is private. Private folders are much like the settings on YouTube. A public, well, there isn't really a public setting here, but a folder can only be accessed by the user unless he is sharing it with anybody. If it is shared, then there are a few different options. You can share a file directly to an individual by giving them direct access and emailing it to them, or you can share it by giving them a link and then sending anybody with the link can view this given email. And you can also give that link an end date. So if it's sensitive information, it'll stop working at a certain point. And that's where something like sharing comes in handy. That's when it's not private. Other than that, it is your private storage space. Use it for what you will. I've got my Listing Concierge assets made. I'm going to jump in here, and now let's go ahead and save the assets out of one of my listings. So I'm going into my going back to CB Desk, and then we're going to go into Listing Concierge, which is one of our tiles right over here. I have an agent who is kind enough to let me use his account to be able to access a listing from. So we're going right in here. When you get to that Listing Concierge page, you'll hit your dashboard. I'm going to go right into the order I want to save, which is 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. I'm going to hit Manage Order. And we're going to come in here. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this address. And I am going to make it the name of a new folder in both my OneDrive Listing Concierge folder, as well as, let me just do something really quick here, and as well as create it on my my local machine too. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to create a new folder 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. Perfect. Got my folder set. Now let's go into Listing Concierge. So the easy things, right? Let's grab the quick things first. Photos. I'm going to go right from the listing dashboard where we are here with all these good tiles. I'm going to go right on the photo icon. Easy peasy. You can see all our photos right here. I'm going to click this select all button and then download them in high res. That way, again, if I need them in the future for marketing purposes, I've got things that are print ready from my previous listings. Or if I want to add them to a website or add them to wherever, I've got them. Now, that's going to download. It will either download, in my case, it's downloading to my downloads folder. Wherever you set it to download, that's where it will go. And then once it finishes, all we need to do then is move it into that folder that we created. Actually, and while that finishes downloading, I realized that I jumped ahead. We actually don't need to make this folder in here. I'm going to go ahead and if you want to delete anything, right? It's just about selecting something. You can see you can copy files, request files, delete files, download files, rename files, all that good stuff. If I want to delete this, I am just going to delete that. And just like that, it's gone. It'll be in the recycle bin. And we've still got our Listing Concierge Assets main folder set. This has finished downloading. So I am going to go ahead and click Show in Folder, which will take me right to my Downloads folder. So I can drag this Listing Photos folder right into my 32nd Avenue. And if I click on here, bam, we've got listing photos. Perfect. Now, I am going to go and let's save a brochure template. I'm going to go back to Listing Dashboard and brochure. Same thing you're going to do for the mailers, advertisement, flyers, anything just sold, postcards. All you do is click on the item and you're going to go right to that little arrow because everything's been approved and completed and everything like that. And we click that little download arrow right underneath the tracking information. And that file is going to download. It is called Preview and a bunch of numbers ending in 481. Will always be different, right? So what we're going to do, and just so I can show you a different way of getting to things, I'm going to go to my computer and let's go to my files. I'm going to go into my downloads. I'm going to go to that preview. Ended in 481. So this is it. Let's open it up to double check. This is indeed my brochure. I need to sign into my Adobe. We're not going to worry about that right now. Whoops. That was indeed my brochure. So I'm going to go back to it and drag it into my Listing Concierge Assets for 125 Santa Cruz. 125 32nd Avenue, I should say. So we've got my files all set. Oops. Perfect. So we've got our listing photos. And then I'm going to take this, as you can see, it's got all those weird preview, blah, blah, blah. Make it easy on myself in the future. I'm just going to call this brochure. You click on it, it'll let you rename it, or you can always right-click and rename. That way, again, it's easy for you to go in and grab things in the future. Same process for the other items, as I mentioned, right? We go right back in here. We can go right to the advertisement. Now, this will only show you what that ad looked like when it ran, and then you can grab a list, or if you're able to get one of the publications that it ran in, and then talk about it that way. But like I said, if you want to save this, I'm going to go ahead and grab this also and migrate it into this. That's what I was doing. Now, let's say you've got, there are other things in here that you're obviously going to want to save. So what about your commercial? That goes to your YouTube, that goes to, should be on your YouTube channel. But it always gets posted right to the Coldwell Banker channel. Now, I've already done classes on YouTube. I am doing a class on YouTube tomorrow. If you haven't taken that, I highly recommend it. Or you can watch the video on my page. So I'm just going to gloss over, the importance of making sure that's on your stations. And we're going to go right to this page that I will provide you guys a link to in the recap. You can copy this YouTube URL right here. If we click on it, it's just going to take us right to the YouTube page to watch the video for the commercial for the listing. Again, save this. We're going to go ahead and go here and download that video. You can always email your listing concierge coordinator to get the copy of the video, but if it's been a while and you're doing this at like 11 a.m. with a glass of wine or 10 p.m. with a glass of wine, this is how you'll do it. Put the link in there, grab the highest quality one, hit download. The download will prepare and start for you. You will see a button once it is prepared that will allow you to actually download the file. I'm going to give it a sec. I am streaming a video that I am also recording, so it's going to take me a little bit to download this particular file. All right, going to click that big green download button. Download is started. Same thing. Guess what we're going to do? I'm going to go into my documents, into my downloads. I'm going to find that video and drag it into here. Now, there is another option, and this is for something you'll have to do a lot. If you guys have a Matterport link, for example, you can save it by creating a Word document. And it's the same thing you can do with any links, right? I'm going to create a Word document called links. So we're going to create a new document. Call it links for 125 32nd Avenue. I think that's the address, right? 125 32nd Avenue. Perfect. So if, like I said, for example, you have a Matterport, which isn't exactly a video, so you can't download it. It is a 3D rendering. You would just copy those links and paste them right here. So we've got, this one. I could just label TV commercial. If I wanted to save the single property website, this listing didn't have a Matterport with it, but it's the same thing. It's a link that you will get that you can click on and copy over. If you need to, the mailer obviously has, and the brochures have all of the text associated with it. If I can get to, let's go back to the dashboard, and we can grab like the single property website. If we were really happy with that, we want to be able to show that off. Click on the one that was created, and we get right to that link URL. Copy that and paste it right into my Word document. And then now, once I'm done, let's say I've got all my links, I'm going to hit Save As. I'm going to save it to my 125 32nd Avenue folder by going into my desktop. You click on Listing Concierge Assets. And for some reason, it's not showing up there. That's weird. Probably because I have it open right now. Let's go ahead and close that. Right there. So let's go here. And we'll save it right there. So now that that's saved, perfect. everything is saved that we want. We're going to go ahead and now upload it into OneDrive. We've got all our assets saved. Now we can get them prepped and set for long-term storage. All we have to do is go back into our OneDrive system. I'm going to go back to my files so everyone can follow me from the get-go. We're going to go to that new folder we created a while ago, the Listing Concierge Assets. And then now that we're in here, all we got to do is go to this upload button and upload. You can upload files individually, or we can do what I wanted to do and upload the entire folder. I'm going to go desktop. I'm going to go find my Listing Concierge Assets. I'm going to upload 32nd Avenue. And just like that, the 4 files that are in there are set to upload. And you'll see a progress bar pop up right there. You can click on it to see the progress of everything individually. And as they all complete, they'll be here and ready to use for however long you need them in the future. And again, anytime you select anything, you can download them, you can rename them, you can send them to people. Now they are in the cloud storage system, ready to be utilized for future business needs, however long and whenever they may be. And that's it, guys. That's everything for this system. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I am going to open up the floor for any questions that you may have. Feel free to type them into the chat or unmute yourself and let me know if there's anything I can help you with. All right, I don't see any questions. So obviously I used my example with OneDrive. It's the same exact process with any other cloud storage provider. You've got to download the assets to your computer first, and then you can do whatever you want with them once they're there. But calendar this out, start it now, get ahead of the curve, and you won't have a big mess on your hands when we all start firing off the alarms about VNew is coming and you need to have everything ready to go. I will ramble on while I wait for any questions to pop into the chat or anyone to unmute themselves. As always, in my recap, there will be a link to a survey. If anybody has the time to